Hello Racers, today I'm coming with a guide on how to win your Legends of the Force pre-release event. So starting off, we have two new mechanics. So first we have Force. Force is by far the biggest mechanic in the whole set. So essentially there are no 30 HP bases in the whole set. They're replaced by 28 HP bases. Also there are 25 HP bases, and all of them give you Force in one way or the other. All the 20 and 28 HP give you Force by attacking with a Force unit, and the 25 HP give you I'll give you Force in different ways. Besides bases, there are some ways to get Force from just playing cards, like Drain Essence, for instance, which for 2 mana deals 2 damage and gives you Force. And there are like a ton of payoffs for the Force mechanic, in form of leaders, in form of cards like the Warrior, which you can see on the screen, which when played, you may use the Force. If you do, you heal 3 HP from your base, which is a pretty nice payoff. But there are definitely even better than this one. Besides the Force, we have Hidden. Hidden is another new keyword. So with Hidden, what it essentially does is that after you play this unit, for the whole phase, the opponent can't attack this specific unit with Hidden with their units. So Ambush won't work, attacking directly won't work, but cards like Open Fire, Takedown, the removal will still work. So keep that in mind when you play those hidden units. They're generally safer, but they're not invincible. So yeah, those are the two new mechanics. And now we can talk about the tier list of the leaders for Limited. So at the very top, we have Snoke. Snoke's ability gives you experiences to villainy units. Giving experiences already in the past proved to be very powerful mechanic in the Limited format. So Tarkin in set 1, Rey in set 2. Both of those leaders were absolute powerhouses in both of these sets. So it's kind of not a huge surprise that Snoke is also gonna be a very powerful leader in the new set. Also, what makes Snoke very powerful is the fact that his color combination is relatively easy to build. Like all the cards in his color synergize with this ability. Like there are a lot of very well statted early villainy units in his color. So Knight of Ren, 3 mana for 4 unit without an ability, just a very powerful minion baseline. There is the Exogol Starfighter, 2 mana 3/1 unit with Ambush in space, not with Ambush, with Overwhelm. And there's also Veiny, 2 mana 2/4, which allows you to move experiences around. All those units are very well statted, and that's what you want to do on the pre-release. Next, after Snoke, we have Talzin. Talzin is another leader that allows you to get some very good trades. Essentially, how Limited works is that it's very hard to build like full aggro or full control deck. So most decks will end up somewhere in the middle, in the mid-range category. So basically, how vast majority of the decks will be resolved is by who gets better trades on the opponent, and experience tokens as well as Talzin's ability allow you to do exactly that. So Talzin's ability gives -1/-1 to a unit after you use the Force for the whole phase. And once you deploy her, you don't even need to use the Force. You just get that give that debuff when you attack with her. Also, she works on leaders, which is a very nice thing. So yeah, Talzin is definitely also a very good choice, just because she allows you to control the board very efficiently. Also, her deploy is very powerful, because then you can combine those -1 effects. So you can give a -1 to a unit before you deploy her, give -1/-1 to that unit again, which combined will be even stronger than the -1/-1 in the vacuum. So she's definitely a very strong leader. Also, her color is relatively powerful in the whole format. Like there are quite a few very good early blue units that can give you the Force. So Secretive Sage, Caris, those are very powerful units that can secure you Force early on. And with any of these Force-based leaders, it's very important that you have some units early on that can secure you the Force. Blue has access to quite all of them, so that's why it's kind of easy to build them. And yeah, that's what makes Talzin a very powerful leader. Next, we have Obi on the list, who is in the A tier category. He gives experience to his tokens, but there are a few things that make Obi-Wan a little bit more tricky to build. So the fact that you need Force in order to give those experience tokens is quite a bit of a downside. it's definitely harder to get his ability rolling than the Snokes, which you just need to pay 1 resource and have a villainy card on the board. So yeah, it's harder. But if you manage to get some good force units early on, especially like 2 drops, 3 drops, and 4 drops, like those are definitely 3 most important costs when it comes to having force trait on a unit, then Obi-Wan can be very powerful. There are some cards that synergize very well with him, which we'll get to later. One thing also that holds Obi-Wan a little bit back is the fact that he can't give experiences token to himself, which makes him a little bit weaker than someone like Snoke. Also, his color combination is slightly weaker, but he's definitely a very good choice, and I am super happy playing any of those 3 leaders. Next, we have B tier category. So we have Maul, Grand Inquisitor. Kinda same concept as with 1000 on Obi-Wan. You need to have some sort of good early force generation, mostly in form of units, combined with the 28 HP bases to get their ability rolling. Both of their payoffs for the force are pretty good. Most ability allows you to finish off some low HP units. Grand Inquisitor gives you an option to attack into units and take way less retaliation damage. Also, that's one of the things that make 1000 very good, because not only she gives -1 HP, she also reduces the power, so the retaliation damage that your unit will take after you attack into that unit that got this debuff will be significantly smaller. So 1000 definitely a good choice, as well as the Inquisitor. Besides the Inquisitor and Maul in the B tier, we have Kanan. Kanan is also a very powerful leader, but with him you need specific color cards. So what cards? Creatures and specters. Mostly creatures. There are very few specters. Basically only Ezra. But Ezra is actually very powerful. So if you get Ezra with Kanan, it's absolutely insane. And he's only an uncommon, so it's not like crazy assumption that you might find those 2 in your packs at the pre-release. So yeah, Ezra is definitely a very good combination with Kanan, but essentially what you need to is a decent amount of creatures, especially early on, so you can give the shield token to them efficiently, and then you deploy Kanan, get a very powerful leader with +2/+2 if you control a creature, and as I mentioned, if you get Ezra on top of that, then you have a very powerful deck. Next, we have the Third Sister. Third Sister, her ability is maybe not as good. The hidden is like okay-ish, but what makes her good is the deploy. So you deploy her at 5. She's a 5/4 with hidden, and hidden on herself actually makes difference, because it's relatively hard to remove leaders with the removal, especially in the limited. So you can easily deploy her and then slam upgrades on her. If you manage to play some upgrades on top of her, then she can be absolute powerhouse for the opponent that is very tough for the opponent to deal with. So keep in mind when you play her, try to get some upgrades and play them on the turn when you deploy her, because it's very safe to assume that once you deploy her, the opponent won't have an answer to her immediately, and when you get some upgrades on her, then yeah, she starts to deal a lot of damage. So yeah, overall I am relatively happy playing any of the leaders from the S tier, A tier, or B tier. With the C tier and D tier, I am not super thrilled about playing them. I guess with the exception of Ahsoka and Kylo, because their color combination are pretty good, especially for the Ahsoka's case. She as a leader is not that impressive, but her color kinda saves her. And also with Kylo, it's kind of similar situation as with Kanan. So you need some specific cards, like notably upgrades. So the best upgrades for Kylo is the 1 mana +1/+3, which can be played only on force units. And if you get some a few of those, maybe like a craving power, then Kylo can become very good. But you need to get some. You need definitely quite a few upgrades in order to make that work. Which is not like crazy difficult, because there are quite a lot of upgrades in this format, but still you need quite a few of them in order to make that work, because if you just deploy him as a 7 drop leader with just a 5/5 sentinel, then yeah, it's kind of mediocre, especially because you don't really have any you don't have leader ability before you deploy, because it only synergizes with the deploy, the whole upgrade gimmick. And then like the leaders below the Kylo, the Morgan, Barry, Skid Fisto, they're okay, but I'm not super thrilled about idea of playing them. So next, let's move on to the synergies. So first of all, as I mentioned, there are quite a few cards that synergize quite well with the Obi-Wan, and by far the biggest card is Youngling Padawan. So a 2 mana, 2/3, which when played gives you a Force, and this ability synergizes very well with the Obi-Wan because you can instantly use Obi-Wan's ability to give experience token to this Youngling, so he becomes essentially a 2 mana 3/4 once you play him, which is a huge stat line on turn 1, and also he's a Force unit, so he can guarantee you this Force generation. So the Youngling Padawan is definitely a very good choice in the Obi-Wan, and yeah, Obi-Wan definitely shines in the yellow because of the Youngling. Next we have the 25 HP blue base. It's a rare base, so you might not find it as often. But if you get some Jedi Counselors to alongside this base, then you have a very powerful turn 2 potentially, because this base at the start of the regroup when the regroup phase starts, if you have at least one unit with 4 or more remaining HP, then you get the Force. And also, if you manage to play Jedi Counselor on turn 1, which is a 2 mana, 1/4 action, use the Force, you may play a unit. For 2 less resources from your hand, and this ability is very powerful when you combine with the base, because usually it's quite hard to get Force without attacking with a unit, and Jedi Counselor's ability requires him to tap him. But this 25 HP base guarantees you Force on turn 2 if you play the Jedi Counselor on turn 1. So then on the second round, you can play a 5-drop from your hand using the Counselor's ability with the Force from the base. And if you get, as I mentioned, a few of these Jedi Counselors, then yeah, this can be an absolute powerhouse, but you definitely need at least a few Jedi Counselors in order to make that work. Besides that, we have Chirrut, who synergizes very well with upgrades in general, and also the event that you can see on the screen, which is Calm the Storm, 2 mana heroic blue event, which exhausts a unit and gives it a shield token and 2 experiences. And the exhaust is like not the greatest, but because it's a sentinel, it's not that big of a problem, because opponents will have to attack into it anyway, and the shield token and those experiences tokens are especially good with Chirrut, because Chirrut's ability allows you to mitigate 2 damages that he would take by using the Force once he's attacked. So if you manage to get Chirrut to some high numbers with his HP, he becomes very tough to kill. Also, if his ability, you can use his ability multiple times during a round. So if you have a few Force units and 28 HP base, then if the opponent doesn't kill Chirrut in one attack, you can attack with a Force unit, get the Force back, use Chirrut's ability again, and you can repeat that process as many times as you have the Force, basically. So that's definitely, I think that makes Chirrut very powerful. And then we have the Drain Essence, which is a very good enabler, which is a very cheap way to get the Force, especially good in Talzin and Maul, because 2 damage is maybe not enough to kill that many targets, but once you combine it with the Talzin or Maul's ability, it becomes pretty good. You can either give those 2 damages to one unit and then finish it off with the Maul's or Talzin's ability, or like kill something with the Drain Essence and have the Force for something else. This is a very flexible card in those 2 leaders especially. So next we have upgrades, and as you can see on the screen, there are quite a lot of them. All of these are commons or uncommons. So yeah, there are a ton of them, and upgrades, as we know, in Limited are very powerful. So yeah, as I mentioned, there are a lot of them, and one card that is an upgrade removal in this format is DRK1 Prop Droid, which is a very important card if you play red to if you have quite a few of them, then it's a good red is definitely a good consideration to play, just because the DRK is a very good counter to the upgrades. When you play DRK, you may defeat a non-unique upgrade, so he's definitely a very powerful unit. Kind of similar case as it was with the Fang Fighter in the previous sets in Limited. It's unfortunate that he doesn't remove the unique upgrades, which there are a few of them, but yeah, most of them are still not unique, so DRK can still handle them. Besides DRK, another way to deal with the upgraded unit is with Balon, Balon, when you play him, you may use the force. If you do, you may return a unit that costs 4 or less to the opponent's hand, and then he replays it on the board for free. So what it essentially does is if a unit was upgraded, the upgrade will go away after you use Balon on that unit. So it's a very efficient way to get rid of upgrades. It doesn't work on leaders and units that cost more than 4 resources. So it's a little bit more situational, but Balon is already well statted. 5 mana, 5/5 hidden is already a decent stat line in limited, so he's definitely a good choice to play. And you have some more flexibility because you can use it on other units as well. You can use it on your own units in order to get a when played ability again, or like on the damaged unit to heal it back. Balon is definitely a good card in limited because all of those factors. And he's only an uncommon. So next we have overlooked cards that will shape the format. So first of all, we have the Pel Motto. I believe that I don't know if I pronounce her correctly, but she's a 2 mana gray unit without any aspects, which is a 1/4, and on attack she gives experiences to a friendly vehicle or droid. And her ability is absolutely insane if you manage to get a good droid or vehicle on turn 2. There are not as many droids, but there are surprisingly still quite a few vehicles. So yeah, as I mentioned, experiences are good, and she's an engine card. If the opponent doesn't handle with her, she'll keep giving those experiences, and it can absolutely snowball the space arena, especially with the vehicles. So yeah, she's definitely a good choice. And because she has 4 HP, it's relatively hard to remove her, so she's good. But with her, make sure that you have some vehicles that you can play on turn 2 or like maybe on the turn 3, so 3 or 4 resources, but mostly on 3 resources. Besides her, we have Gun Warrior, a very well statted minion. 3 mana, 3/2 shielded with Restore 1 is just a premium stat line, and this is a common theme in this set. There are a lot of with cards without aspect, or like with only heroic or only villainy aspects, that are still very good cards in the format. On the screen you see the Vulpex, the Curious Flock, which feels curved quite nicely, the Ravaging Gundark. All of those units are quite well statted, and there are some more. There is the Fallen Jedi, a 3 mana 3/4 in villainy without any ability, which is a force unit. So there are a lot of a lot of good cards in the villainy and the heroic heroic aspects. So yeah, keep your mind open for them. Besides those neutral cards, we have the heavy missile gunship, a 4 mana 4/3 space unit with action. Tap the gunship in order to deal 2 damage to a ground unit. This is a quite good card because you can finish off some low HP units without having to attack them directly. So it can really help you to stabilize the ground arena. It's relatively slow, but the fact that the gunship doesn't really take any damage back and allows you to clear the ground makes him still a very good choice. And there is the Priestess of the Force, a 7-drop, 6/8, which when played you may use the Force. If you do, give a shield token to up to each 5 units, and she's definitely good if you get some Sentinels. Getting some shields on Sentinels can be very powerful, and also like in general to get some trades, they are very powerful. They're relatively slow, so if you don't have that many Sentinels, she's maybe not as good, but yeah, I would say if you get some good Sentinels like Chirrut, then the Priestesses are a very powerful card. Next we have bombs on common and uncommon in red and yellow. So yeah, here basically if you open any of these, try to play that color, because how powerful are those cards? Mace Windu, 6 mana 6/6, when played you may use the Force, deal 4 damage to a unit. Shinhati, 3 mana 4/2, hidden, shielded. All those units are very well statted, or they have very powerful ability. So yeah, once you open them, try to play them. Here are some more from the blue and green. Blue has especially a lot of like very powerful bombs on uncommon and common. So yeah, keep in mind that they are here. Especially like the Tentatek. I believe that's what the name of this card. So he's a 5 mana, 5/5 unit, which gains ambush if the opponent controls a force unit. So there are a lot of force units, so it's relatively easy to enable his ability. So yeah, definitely a very powerful unit. He's almost always an ambusher on the 5 resource round, and ambushes are a very powerful mechanic in limited. They allow you to get some 2-for-1s. So yeah, definitely a very powerful unit in this format. But basically any of these cards that you can see on the screen, they're very powerful in the limited. Here are some ambush cards. As I mentioned, Tentatek, Tyrannus, Debabilaba, Charging Filak or whatever. The 4-cost 3/4 ambush hidden. Like there are quite a few ambush cards, so keep in mind that they're in the format. And once you get to those resource territory against these specific colors, keep in mind that the opponent can play them and try to play around them if possible. Next, we have some traps. There are maybe not like a crazy amount of traps in this format, but yeah, Sifo-Dyas, his ability is covered by, but when he dies, he allows you to search top 8 cards for cards with clone trait, with cards with the clone trait, with combined cost of 4 or less. And then they go to graveyard, and you may play them for free as just an action during this phase. But he's not the greatest choice because there are very few clones in this format. I believe there is only one in Green Heroic, which is like not the greatest. So definitely don't play the Sifo. Capitan Eunuch, he gets +1/+0 for each trooper in your graveyard. Also a very difficult card to get rolling just because he requires the troopers. There are some other cards which just give you a very weak value, like Do or Not Do, as I have foreseen, Precarious Predicament. All those are relatively low value, or they are just risky, like as I have foreseen. And also there is the Spawn, 4-cost, 3/3, Overwhelm, and when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, give it experiences equal to the defender's unit's cost, which can snowball once you like manage to kill something. But 4-cost 3/3 is very easy to kill, so for the most part it's gonna be easy for the opponent to remove him before you attack with him. I guess he's good if you manage to maybe play him with like the third sister, so you give him a hidden, and then you take initiative, so you attack with him first, or like you have some upgrades for him. But because how low stated he is, it's relatively tough to build him. To try to build a deck where he works basically. So next we have the removal. There's a little bit of removal as per usual in limited. So as usual, blue has the most removal. There is one very powerful removal in green in the form of Protect the Pod. A friendly non-vehicle unit deals damage equal to its remaining HP to an enemy unit in any arena. The Wheel of Force, also a very powerful removal in Cunning. It only bounces a unit, but it's still like enough value in order to make that card work. It's worth a 7-cost defeat a non-leader unit, so essentially an off-aspect Vanquish. Maybe not the greatest, but I would probably still play it if you can, just because on 7 resources, like removing something like a Sentinel, like a Chirrut, is still a decent value. And there are some more conditional removals like the Thousand Assassin, Mace, Sorcerer Blast, the Drain Essence, and the Guardian. All those cards are pretty decent. Overall, red doesn't really have that much removal in the set, which is kind of important to keep in mind overall. Here you can see the color rating. So in the S tier, we have the blue Heroic and Villainy. Blue is definitely a very powerful color. There are a lot of great force units early on in this color, so definitely try to stay open for them. Also, they are followed by Green Villainy, very powerful color, especially if you combine it with Snoke, but even without Snoke, the color is still good. Then we have the Green Heroic, definitely a good choice as well. And then we are moving on to the weaker colors. The problem, Blue Villainy, not Blue Villainy, Yellow Villainy is a good color, but the problem is that there are not that many force units in this color, which makes it a little bit more tricky to play that. So like there's Shinhati and the Balon, but cards like Aura Sync are not force units, so it makes the getting the force in this color a little bit more tricky, but it's still a decent color. Blue Heroic, also an okay color. And then we have the red. Red in both Heroic and Villainy is quite weak. Surprisingly, the color has a lot of early units that you can play, but those cards for the most part are just very poorly statted. Like there is the Bomber Villainy, not Villainy, red unit with free, which is free cost 2/2. When you play him, if you control a red unit, you deal 2 damage to a unit, which 3 mana for a 2/2 minion in space is a very low stat line. So yeah, there are a lot of cards like that in this color combination. So red is not the greatest for the most part, unless you get some DRKs, the guy who defeats a non-unique upgrade. Then sure you can play him, but play that color. But for the most part, red is not the greatest color in my eyes in this set when it comes to limited. And yeah, that's it for today. Good luck at your pre-release events, and see you next time.